Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and these are some of the top stories we have for you tonight. Another morning home invasion on St. Croix. We've got the exclusive. Could payless paydays be in our future for the holidays? And your Crime Stoppers reports. These stories and more up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, Governor John DeYoung's veto pen has been busy again. News Channel 8's Wes Small caught up with Senate President Ronnie Russell with that story. And could we be seeing some payless paydays as well?
Thanks a lot, Jerome. We are at Superior Court, kind of ducking in the bushes as we get a blessing with Senate President Ronald Russell. Let's get right to it. He has some Supreme Court information out. None better than him to put it out because he is a superb lawyer and attorney, so he can get that going through. And then something about a veto from the governor yesterday, could be involving Juan Louis Hospital, but the Senate President, that's why we have him here, Senator Ronald Russell. Thank you very much, and thank you for catching you in the parking lot this afternoon. Please tell us what has developed over the last few hours.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm here. I was doing an interview, Wes. The Third Circuit sent down a panel to interview many people in the community, senators, lawyers, and judges, to find out whether or not our Supreme Court should get the authority to have its appeals go directly to the Supreme Court of the United States. And they're here now evaluating the entire operation of the Supreme Court. Currently, if you want to appeal from the Supreme Court of the Virgin Islands, that appeal goes to the Third Circuit. What we're trying to get is to have that appeal go to the Supreme Court of the United States. So they're doing an evaluation now, and they interviewed me, and naturally I supported our Supreme Court going directly to the Supreme Court of the United States. It was a great interview, and we want to thank the people for the Third Circuit for coming down. They brought down Judge Stapleton and the clerk at that court, and the interview, they asked a lot of good questions about whether or not the Supreme Court is doing a good job. And we know our Supreme Court is doing a good job. So we supported them, and I'm sure that all of the senators supported them, the judges and everything. So maybe in the near future, if you want to appeal from our Supreme Court of the Virgin Islands, your appeal will go directly to the Supreme Court of the United States. So that's what I'm here.
Well, I'm glad that at least you're on that. So I think we all feel pretty safe with that because you're an attorney, and if you don't know, no one does. So that's good right there. Now, what developed overnight with the vetoes from the governor's pen?
Well, one of the vetoes that we really have to look to override is the debt that the government has incurred over years of Juan Louis. Juan Louis is supposed to be owing the government of the Virgin Islands about $50 million. We cleaned that debt as a legislature, and the governor vetoed it. The reason Juan Louis needed to have that debt not show up in his books is because Juan Louis needs money now. And if they are trying to get money, and on their books they have a $50 million debt to the government, nobody might want to help them. So we got to look at that because our hospital is the only hospital we have. We need to help them. The legislature helped them. The governor decided to veto that. We need to override that. There's some other vetoes that he did that we will look at to override. But you know the main issue now is whether or not they're going to be payless paydays in December.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's saying about the 3 paychecks they're supposed to get next month.
Okay.
And people are saying, no, we're only going to get 2.
No, well,
let's straighten that out.
Let's straighten that out. The Senate has a proposal to deal with the Insurance Guarantee Fund to avoid all of this. The Insurance Guarantee Fund has money. We're looking at whether or not we need to call a special session to go in to solve that problem so that everybody could have the paychecks for Christmas and to enjoy the vacation. So the Senate is looking at all of the options right now because we're not going to leave our people out in the cold with no payless paydays in December. This Senate is acting, and we're acting expeditiously. So people have faith in your Senate. We will find a way to get the money into the government so that there are no payless paydays in December.
Wow. And I have to smile because I saw some people in the post office area, Sunny Isle, and that's what they were talking about. They're up in arms. I said, don't worry, I'm going to get with Ronnie in just a little bit. And when I called your office, you were like, Wes, when do you want me there? Where can we meet? You already knew this was coming.
Yeah, because it's out there. Yesterday's meeting pointed out that there's a cash flow problem with the executive branch. They said they only have $13 million left in the operating expense account. The payroll is bigger than 13 million. And what has been projected is that in December, there'll be challenges with paying the government payroll, which is a 3-pay period. We come up with a solution, West, and we're going to implement it. We just need to get all the senators together to make sure that we could find a date in December, that we could have some kind of special session to address this immediately so that everybody could enjoy the holiday, especially the Christmas season and the New Year.
At Superior Court, that's a lot to ingest. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes, and we want to thank Senate President Ronnie Russell for making that statement tonight. And in other news tonight, a family of 3 were terrorized early this morning in the Rattan and La Grande Princess area of St. Croix. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this exclusive report on that situation. It could have been much worse.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. Well, this report has been to a few places. Now, first, my story started around Marshall Command because it was around 8:30 this morning that we've had reports of a suspect, a lone suspect, a young man, very young, possibly a minor, or in his low 20s. And he had hog-tied, duct-taped a family down in that area. I'm by the water tower here, top of Rattan, in the area of La Grande Princess and Rattan, going down that way. Now, the area of the house is still unclear, but here's what we have. We have neighbors then alerting other family members as this man brazenly went into a home in this area around 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning, again during rush hour. I can't emphasize the guts these good-for-nothings are having these days. A family of 3 so far, hog-tied and duct tape. He was armed with a weapon, a gun, and a knife. We have information unofficially that family members ensued, officers arriving almost at the same time, and thank God they stopped this horrible act in progress. Now, let's go to where the suspect is right now. And what happens when you try to rob a family of 3 by yourself? This is where it lands you when you don't plan out your day properly. Family members allegedly came home, oops, upside his head with a baseball bat. Now this suspect, this young man, is in the emergency room unofficially. Let's take you back. And there's some other details that I didn't tell you about. From a street level, though, we have a 22-year-old. Supposedly his name was Alex Green. This is the name that he gave authorities as he was caught just having a bad day trying to rob a family of 3 with a gun and a knife in that area that we just left by the water tower. Well, as they were questioning him or taking him to Marshall Command, because that's where I started my report early this morning, I guess his condition just got worse, and this is where he ended up right now. I'll try to get word on his condition, find out more. We also know now that that is not his name, and perhaps that's not his age. We do know this. He is a young man, possibly a minor. We don't know what his name is at this time. Just in case you're joining us, because it could get confusing. Home invasion attempt by a young man early this morning around 8:30 or 9 in the La Grande Princess Rattan area. Home invasion went wrong. VIPD got there seconds later, as well as some other family members, possibly neighbors. Word is, could have possibly got hit in the head with a baseball bat, the suspect did, and this is where he is right now. After this, he'll be relocated to Rainbow, questioned some more by detectives, and then I guess he'll see about his bail. Right now, we believe he is charged with unregistered firearm. They got a gun. Perhaps they got the knife as well. Haven't heard about that yet officially. And we also know that he is being charged with robbery in the first. That's the charges so far. They could mount up. If we have any more information for you, Jerome, we'll certainly give it to you. Outside of Juan Louis Hospital's emergency room, I'm Wes Small. Watch yourselves for for News Channel 8.
And it's Wednesday. Time for your Crime Stoppers report with Miss Judy Fricks.
This is Judy Fricks with your weekly Crime Stoppers report. Crime Stoppers need your help to stop fraud and corruption in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Whether it is a government agency, a private business, an appointed or elected official, too frequently we are learning about a fraudulent act that has allegedly been committed. Recent reports have revealed that some government employees have been charged with fraud for allegedly stealing and selling government property for personal gain. Other reports have revealed that some elected officials have stolen taxpayers' money. In some cases, these acts were being committed for years before the individuals were caught. We can no longer afford to not speak up. Corruption and fraud affects all of us in some way. Not only does it erode our confidence in our public servants, but it hits us all in the wallet through increased taxes, rates, and fees. If we don't say something, consider what we will all have to pay to maintain our families. We can no longer continue to allow these persons to take the easy road to prosperity at our expense. Often when we think of crime, we think of things occurring on the streets to specific individuals and homes. Taking something that isn't yours is a crime, period. Engaging in corruption and fraud is a crime, period. If you know of any crimes involving businesses such as tax evasion, stealing electricity, illegal hiring practices, importing illegal weapons, anything like that, call Crime Stoppers. If you know of any public servants who are involved in stealing public funds or property, accepting bribes for services or anything of this nature, call Crime Stoppers. The corruption must end. You work hard to enjoy this place we call paradise. Please become a part of making our territory a better place to live by telling us what you may know about these or any other crimes. Your information will be submitted to the proper law enforcement agency and you will remain anonymous. You can submit tips to the number right there on your screen at 1-800-222-TIPS, which is 8477. You can log on to our website at crimestoppersusvi.org, or you can text it to CRIMES, which is 274-637. You must include USVI in the body of your text message. If your information helps law enforcement solve a crime, you will receive a cash reward. This has been your weekly Crime Stoppers report.
And thanks to Judy Fricks for the Crime Stoppers report of the week. And when we come back from this break, more. Stay with us. And let's take a look at your Caribbean report for tonight. In your Caribbean report tonight, we start in St. Kitts and Nevis, where law and order is a non-negotiable priority for the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and throughout the Twin Island Federation. State's Prime Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas delivering a featured address at the official opening of the newly constructed Dai-Pai Bay Police Station. Douglas, who's also been the area's parliamentary representative for the past 21 years, said that ensuring the social economic expansion that is taking place is only one component of the government's vision for the area. He said the existing St. Paul Police Station and the Dai-Pai Police Station constitutes a firm law enforcement presence that is ready to serve the people, the school children, and the business people of the area. And turning to St. Lucia, where this afternoon the Soufriere Regional Development Foundation, in collaboration with the Bank of St. Lucia and the First Caribbean International Bank, hosted the 4th Annual Territory Education and Trades Fair at the St. Lucia Isidores Hall in Soufriere. The event occurred between 10 a.m. and 4:30 this afternoon, and it was designed to raise the awareness of the unemployment persons and employees, students, and school leavers of the existing academic skills programs that are offered by the territory's level institutions. In St. Lucia and abroad, the previous events have been successful, attracting nearly 400 persons per event. And finally, in San Juan, Puerto Rico, JetBlue Airways is the fastest growing airline in Puerto Rico and has announced further expansions in the islands with the addition of 2 more daily flights between San Juan, Puerto Rico and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The new flights are scheduled to begin in May of 2012 when JetBlue celebrates 10 years of offering high-quality, low-fare service to Puerto Rico. In a single decade, JetBlue has grown to become the largest airline in Puerto Rico in terms of capacity. With its expanded schedule, JetBlue will offer up to 6 daily non-stop flights between its South Florida focus city of Fort Lauderdale, Florida Hollywood International Airport and the Louis Munoz Martin International Airport in Puerto Rico's capital. And that that's your Caribbean report for tonight. And the Virgin Islands Police Department are still trying to identify a woman who was apparently hit by a car and killed recently on St. Thomas. Here's VIPD spokesperson Melody Rames with more.
Traffic Enforcement Bureau officers on St. Thomas are appealing to the community to help identify a female accident victim who died on Monday, November 14th after being struck by a car. The accident occurred shortly before 2 p.m. on Monday, November 14th on Crum Bay Road near Total Gas Station. The accident victim is described as having blonde hair, about 5 foot 2 inches tall with a slim build. She was wearing short blue jeans and a white tank top and white slippers. She was struck while she was crossing the street. When officers arrived on the scene, they observed the woman lying on her back in the roadway. She was transported to the Roy Lester Schneider Regional Medical Center by ambulance, where she was later pronounced dead. The Traffic Enforcement Commander, Sergeant Rosalind Jarvis, said the driver of the vehicle that struck the victim was at the scene when police arrived. The investigation into the accident is ongoing. Anyone who knows the victim or has any information regarding this case is urged to contact officers at 774-2211, extension 5514 or 5567, or you can call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS.
And thanks to Melody Rames of the Virgin Islands Police Department. And we are also still trying to find out where 26-year-old Akil Joseph is. He's been missing since November 2nd of this year. Akil was last seen in La Valley area. He's also been seen near Glen and the Monbijou areas as well. If you know of the whereabouts of Akil, call 911 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. And when we come back from this break, Stephen Kufrancis has got your Sports 411. He's on the track. And tonight in your Sports 411, here's some track and field highlights with Stephen Kufrancis.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. The St. Croix Education Complex, the St. Croix Track Club, and the Hounds and Fox Track Club represented the Virgin Islands in the El Jabarito International Mile. Folks, the athletes were not only from Puerto Rico and Vieques. We had competitors coming from Dominican Republic, Argentina, Mexico, and Colombia. Folks, the complex athletes were consist of Brittany Sage, Alicia Patty, Deontay Francis, Kareem Johnfin, Deshaun Webb, Malik Smith, and Ali Brown. Awards were given to the top 10 athletes who were in two age categories. Our top complex athletes were Malik Smith with a 9th place finish. The St. Croix Track Club athletes were Michelle Smith, Malik Smith, Valence Modest, Stephanie Matthew, Crystal Gordon, and Rodney Griffin. The top finishers in the Mustang group were Valence Modest in 2nd place, Malik Smith in 3rd place, Stephanie Matthew in 7th place, and Michelle Smith in 9th place. The Hounds and Fox athletes were Walton Jack, Ozazi Williams, Naeem Daniel, Adrian Sanes, and Naya Jack. The top finishers in the Hounds and Fox group were Walton Jack in 3rd place, Ozazi Williams in 3rd place, Naeem Daniel in 4th place, and Naya Jack in 7th place. Well, we want to say congratulations to all the athletes. Great job, despite the fact most of them had to overcome the flu, which only proved that you can still compete even though you don't feel well. Well, we want to thank all the individual and business sponsors who helped these youth teams. That's a look at Sports 411 update. I'm Stephen Kufrancis for News Channel 8. Back to you, Jerome.